Watch me. Watch me. I got it. Hey! I got something that makes me want to shout. I got something that tells me what it's all about. I got soul, and I'm super bad.
Welcome, everyone, to the NBA playoffs on TNT tonight from Cleveland, Ohio. It's Game 2 in the first round Eastern Conference matchup featuring the #1 seeded Cleveland Cavaliers and the 8 seed Detroit Pistons. The Cavs lead the series 1-0. Well, yesterday, the NBA announced that the Cavs head coach, Mike Brown, had been voted NBA Coach of the Year. The Cavaliers have the #1 record in the NBA. They've got the best home record in the league at 39-2. And he was the Eastern Conference All-Star coach. He's had some great mentors, including Greg Popovich down at San Antonio. This is your 2009 Coach of the Year, Joe Litvin from the NBA, presenting the Red Auerbach Trophy moments ago with Dan Gilbert, the owner, at his side.
Coach Brown guided the Cavaliers.
A terrific moment for one of the great people in the NBA, Mike Brown, the Coach of the Year,
making it only the
in the NBA.
12th time in NBA history.
This is Kevin Harlan with Doug Collins and Pam Oliver, taking a look now at our McDonald's starting lineup. Well, Doug Collins, interesting names, interesting matchups. How in the world will the Detroit Pistons stop LeBron James tonight?
Well, that's the $64,000 question, and they haven't been able to do it the last 5 games. He's thrown up huge numbers against them in the playoffs, and what they're going to do tonight, Michael Ford, they're going to put Rip Hamilton on LeBron James as the initial defender. They're going to double with a bigger player and then keep Tayshaun Prince, hopefully not wear him down as much and let him be a little bit more of a rebounder. So we'll see how that works, but it's a take care of business game for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Very businesslike, workmanlike job that they have been doing. And for the Detroit Pistons, I think this is almost their one last gasp, Kevin. They keep talking about all we have to do is get a split. And they played a lot of mind games. They've done a lot of talking. They've been through a lot of adversity. And can they put together a good performance here on the road tonight and find a way to even up this series?
And Doug, all that being said, let's take a look at some of your bullet points, some of your keys tonight in this Cavalier-Detroit Game 2 in the best-of-7.
Well, set the tone early. The Cavs did that. LeBron James had a big first quarter, 12 points, had 8 in the paint to start the game. The Pistons got to get their defense set early. And answers for LeBron, we just talked about that, 38 points, no assists. He's dominated the game in every phase. And I said before, a take care of business game for Cleveland. You got your sights set on NBA championship. You want to play as few games as possible. And the Pistons, can they find a way to make this 1-1 going back to the Palace in Auburn Hills?
In Game 1, the Cavaliers beat the Detroit Pistons 102-84, shooting 53% from the field. Cleveland only committed 5 turnovers. In the regular season, they played 4 times. The Cavaliers winning 3 of the 4. And the ceremonial tossing of the rise. Again, you did this when you played in Philadelphia, didn't you?
Yeah,
this is exactly what you did. Huh?
This is a great arena. I'm telling you, Kevin, we had the conference finals here a couple years ago with Detroit. Got such a great appreciation. These fans have been tremendous, and this is one of the best shows in the NBA, obviously with their team and LeBron and what he's done, but the game presentation here in Cleveland is terrific.
Doug, you know, moments ago you were talking about Rick Hamilton and how he'll start off on LeBron. I mean, what can Detroit possibly do that Cleveland hasn't seen?
Nothing.
Nothing. That's right.
Well, what it comes down to for Cleveland is being sharp and not trying to hit the home run play, but make the simple play. LeBron has seen every defense you can see. Charles Barkley in our studio, same way when he played in the post, every double team you could see it all. So what you do is you read the defense, feel it out, and then make the proper play.
And here is Mo Williams, had a profound effect on this team. The quick double on James. And outside Delonte West. Shot clock at 4. Varejau's screen. Williams over McDice. And right like that, a quick 2.
Mo Williams got off to a slow start in Game 1. By his own admission, he was a little bit nervous. He got a couple quick fouls, only 1 of 5 in the first half. But as he's done a lot, came back and had a very good second half. He's a guy that bounces back. Usually doesn't have 2 bad halves. Here's
Wallace posting up on Varejau with the shot clock down to 6. Doubled by Williams. Rasheed missing his first shot. The rebound by LeBron James.
That's a a good sign for Detroit, though, for Rasheed getting down in that post. He has got to get in that paint.
Prince is out on the smaller West. With a turnover right there, the first of the game for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and here comes Rip.
Only 5 the entire game the other day. It was a playoff low for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
McDyess over Ilgauskas, a miss right there. And it was tapped by LeBron. Here comes Mo Williams. Into the backpedaling Stuckey to the trailing Ilgauskas. That's right over Rasheed Wallace.
Well, Big Z, this is a guy who's seen and done it all here in Cleveland. Been through the highs, the lows, foot injuries, kept him out for a better part of 4 seasons. And boy, he's a great option on this team. He's the third option. He can shoot the ball. He's shooting threes now, rebounding.
It's Hamilton over West. Another miss for Detroit on the first offering by Hamilton. And a foul blown inside at the 10:24 mark of this first quarter. And Big Z Ilgauskas picks up number 1.
I had a chance before the game. I was kidding Rip Hamilton. He was stretching, and I said, you know, I watched 2 Connecticut guards last night. I saw Ray Allen and Ben Gordon. I said, I don't know if people even remember you played at Connecticut. He said, I'm ready, Coach. Just watch me tonight. So we'll see if Rip gives us a show here.
And right now, he takes it inside on Delonte West. So Rip Hamilton comes up with his first hit on 2 tries. And the first 2 for the Detroit Pistons, who finished the season at 39-43. The only team in the 16 playoff teams with a losing record coming into the postseason. Screened by Mo Williams, a switch on defense. They got Stuckey now on James. And LeBron in the middle, which they wanted to avoid. Verjao over Wallace. And the rebound by Prince is first.
Excuse me, Kevin. That's the shot they want Verjao to take. Of all the guys on the floor, he's the poorest shooter.
But so active.
Yeah, you got to keep him off the boards.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. You don't want to give him layups and dunks and second chance. Those kind of opportunities. He's going to run the floor. But you know, that's the one thing that Danny Ferry's done such a great job here. If this Cleveland team is still a terrific defensive team, but they are so much better of an offensive team. LeBron has so many more pieces around him, guys that can shoot. So if you're going to make the double teams, he's going to find the open man.
Quick double on Rip. Verjao, by the way, just picked up that personal foul. That was his first. That's a throwaway and a turnover for Detroit. We talked about Cleveland, Doug. Moments ago, you said only 5 turnovers. Detroit themselves, only 7 turnovers in that game 1.
Yeah, combined 12 with, I think it was a
amazing
playoff record, the lowest by 2 teams.
Ilgauskas a screen on Stuckey. Pick and roll with Williams. Pick and pop. McDyess trying to defend.
I tell you, he can shoot that ball. And what you're going to see now, he can shoot threes, Kevin. And late in games, if it is a critical play, he'll go to that three-point line in the corner to drag that center out, which opens up the lane for LeBron. It's a big part of their offense late in games.
Edge defense there by Ilgauskas. And Stuckey over Williams. Missing the 2. The rebound by Verjao, who collects his first rebound.
One of the things they want to do is keep Stuckey out of the paint. Quick post there by LeBron James. Nice play as he ran right to the front of the rim. And a beautiful pass by Delonte West. But one of the concerns for Mike Brown is that Stuckey got in that paint too much in game 1. He was only 7 of 21, but missed some easy shots, and they had missed 4 layups. They want to keep him out of the paint, make him a jump shooter.
Ball is a screen. Verjao picks up Rip Hamilton. Shot clock at 5. Working on West. Rip kicks it back to Stuckey. Shot clock at 2. Stuckey's got a foul. And that is a 24-second shot clock violation. Good defense by the Cleveland Cavaliers. By the way, the number 1 defensive team in the NBA.
And that's what I'm saying. They win with their defense, and now they're a team that is much better offensively. Look at this quick post. Beautiful play by LeBron James. And that's what I'm talking about. He can run you in the post. He can isolate. He can shoot the 3. Get you in pick and roll. Find the open man. He passes over the top of double teams. I mean, he's seen it all. And this is an experienced guy that's seen every defense.
Verjao a screen, knocks out Stuckey. That makes the shot by Mo Williams good. He is 2 of 2 with 4 points. Cleveland out to an 8-point lead and a timeout by Detroit. This is not the start Doug they wanted.
No, it is not. And you can already see some heads hanging for Detroit. And if you're Cleveland, this is exactly what you want. You want to take this Detroit team that is very fragile and fragmented and put the hit on them early, and that's what they're doing. And Mo Williams, who got off to the slow start in game 1, very good start here tonight.
They've hit their 5 of the first 6 shots to start this game. And it's time now for the Gatorade Around the Cooler. And we say good evening to the beautiful Pam Oliver. Pammy, how you doing?
Hey, Kevin, how are you? Mo Williams has promised to have a much better game. As Doug mentioned, those 2 early fouls and kind of being a case of the jitters kind of threw him off in the first game. but Detroit really wants them to keep it up, that frustration as well. They've instructed Rodney Stuckey to attack Mo Williams early and often. Detroit's coaches feel that it's very important for Stuckey to be the aggressor first, because if Williams is able to strike early, he has a tendency to keep people on their heels all night. This should be a nice matchup to watch, guys.
All right, Pam, thank you very much. Neither team made a change in their lineup coming out of that break. 7.5 to play. They got Hamilton along with Rasheed Wallace watching LeBron across the way. Here's Verjao. And Delonte West. Well, look at the weapons that LeBron Doug has around him offensively.
And what they're going to do is he's just basically playing a zone there, and that's what happens. And what LeBron will do, he'll drive that ball in the gap, and he's going to find the shooter. That's Big Z there's Zydrunas Ilgauskas. That's 3 jumpers he's hit already tonight, 3 of 3. So Mo Williams 2 of 2. So there are 2 shooters out there, 5 of 5 here early. And LeBron can beat you without throwing up a 35.9. He can get you 20, 10, 15 rebounds, 10 or 11 assists. So he can beat you with a triple-double as well.
Over Ilgauskas, it's Rasheed Wallace who hits a 3-point shot. As Wallace puts up and hits his first of the 3 he has shot that stops an 8-0 run. Here's LeBron. Screen by West. Ilgauskas the miss. Tayshaun Prince was defending on the play and comes up with the loose ball. Racing the other way. And Delonte West with a little hand check there. And he picks up his first foul for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
His first personal.
Yeah, but I like the pace that LeBron's playing at. In fact, that's the one quote that I like from Mike Brown that he said after game 1. He said he's playing at a great offensive pace. And our players know where to go and know where to play off. And you see that tonight. No hurry, seeding the double team. Forcing the double team to come to him and then finding the open man. There's another turnover. That's 3 already for Detroit.
Dice couldn't find the handle. Here comes LeBron into Tayshaun Prince. And LeBron James with the basket right there. For the Cavaliers, he's got 4. He has hit his first 2 shots.
And I call that playing downhill. It's also almost like he's running downhill. And when he does that, you can't stop him. He's too big and strong.
Closed by LeBron on McDyess, who hits it from outside. Antonio McDyess, who is a starter with this ball club. And at 34 years of age, he's been around the block a few times.
Really finished the season strong. The last 30 games, he's averaged a double-double. Here's Mo Williams for that 3. And long shots mean long rebounds.
Verjao collects his 2nd rebound so far. Prince is now watching West to switch on defense there. McDyess is on Ilgauskas as they clear the side. Ilgauskas has started 3 of 5. Pushing the pace of Stuckey. They want him to attack for Detroit.
Absolutely. He had 21 shots the other day, and a lot of them were on drives. He got off to a great start, Kevin. 3 of 5 in the first quarter, and then 4 of 16 to end. And a lot of those he just couldn't finish at the rim.
Good ball movement. Hamilton got it eventually. Hits the long shot. James was defending on the play. And Doug Rip Hamilton now has got 5.
Well, that's one thing Michael Curry talked to me today. He wanted to see them take a few more corner threes. He thought they maybe forced some shot in the lane. They were 7 of 19 shooting in the lane. He'd like to see him shoot some threes from the corner. That's exactly what Rip Hamilton did. And this is going to be a moving pick on Anderson Verjao.
That's the 2nd on Verjao. With 4:54 to play here in the first with the Pistons, Doug. 4 of 10 to start. The Cavaliers, 7 of 11.
Well, you talk about depth on that front line. Here comes Joe Smith into the game. So Verjao picks up 2 fouls. So Joe Smith comes in. I think Verjao is going to lead you out with the foul, so Big Z is going to stay in Zydrunas Ilgauskas. And what happens now is you've got another really good shooter on the floor, so you lose some size with Verjao, maybe some rebounding, but Joe Smith gives you another shooter out there. So basically when LeBron is on the floor right now, all 4 of the guys with him can shoot the basketball.
Hamilton, Stuckey, Wallace, McDyess. Here's Hamilton now working into Williams, finding Wallace, who misses the shot inside. It was rebounded by Ilgauskas, who gets his first rebound. The other way comes Williams. He drives into Tayshaun Prince. The rebound by Rasheed Wallace. That's his first. And Stuckey looking for a McDyess screen. Works right into Mo Williams. And a nice shot by Stuckey. At 10 in the first half, he has dug right there his first 2, 1 of 3, and Detroit is on a 7-zip run.
We see the upper body strength there. He actually, Mo Williams was in good defensive position, and he just sort of lowered that shoulder and created some space and hit that floater. We saw Derrick Rose the other day do that as well for Chicago. So 2 very strong point guards, young point guards for both Detroit and Chicago.
With the shot clock at 3, Prince is on West. That'll trickle in as West has hit his first. He's got his first 2. How about LeBron, Doug, with these pinpoint laser cross-court passes?
I've always said that's the best part of his game. I mean, you know, you talk about all the other things he does. He's a great passer.
Great vision on the floor.
And he loves to pass. Yeah. I mean, it's one thing being a good passer. It's another thing you like to pass. And LeBron loves to pass the basketball.
LeBron just comes up with the rebound right there, his 4th with his 4 points. Stuckey on him now. Screen by Augustus. Look at him drive. As he took it inside, looked like Rasheed Wallace was reaching in. And looks like Sheed has picked up the foul.
Well, Rasheed's trying to argue that he was not in the act of shooting, but he had picked up his dribble. And that's what he does. He gets in the cracks. I mean, this is a guy who's like 6'8", 260 pounds, but his body control is so good, Kevin. You know, he gets in those cracks defensively and splits those pick and rolls. And then he's so strong. I mean, he went by Rasheed Wallace, who's the center for the Detroit Pistons, and just ran right through it, basically an arm tackle there to get to the free throw line.
Wally Szczerbiak has come in for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Brown has come in for Stuckey. That's Kwame Brown for the Detroit Pistons for Stuckey. Here you see Joe Smith and LeBron, what he's done against this Piston team over the recent history.
Well, you could see they really haven't had no answers for him. Remember, they went up 2-0 in that one series. LeBron won 4 straight with his team when they were the underdog. Remember that 48-point game that he had in Game 5, and then came back in Game 6, and it was Daniel Gibson, 5 threes, 31 points in that deciding Game 6. They win this game, so they've beaten the Pistons 5 straight times in the playoffs.
Look how tall Detroit is, Doug. There's a turnover right there with Tayshaun Prince unable to hold on, but I mean, they bring in Brown, a 7-footer, and they take out their point guard Stuckey, and in essence, they got a point forward now in Tayshaun Prince.
Well, you got to mix up your lineups, and that's what Michael Curry's trying to do. You see now Tayshaun Prince is actually playing Daniel Gibson, the point guard. And they're going to look like almost going to a little bit of a zone here.
Gibson comes in for the first time. The Szczerbiak and James, Ilgauskas and Smith. Boobie Gibson for 3, make it a 2. He was covered on the play by Rasheed Wallace. And here comes Hamilton. Tayshaun Prince over Gibson defending on the wing. And Prince missing his first shot.
Kwame Brown's a very good offensive rebounder. You know, when people talk about, you know, his offensive woes, but he's a good defender and does a nice job on the offensive board. So they're going to have to block him off on the boards. The other night he had 4 offensive rebounds in Game 1.
There's a travel on Rasheed Wallace. And Doug, that is the 5th first-quarter turnover for the Detroit Pistons, something they can ill afford to do against this Cleveland team.
Well, Detroit felt like to win this game tonight, they were going to have to force some turnovers, but they're not a team that forces turnovers. Well, Cleveland by 5 and 2:29 to go. And Kevin, when LeBron James catches the ball on the wings, he basically knows what he's going to see as a 1-2-2 zone. Basically, you see elbows, Rasheed Wallace, and boxes. It's going to be like a 1-2-2 zone. And Cleveland knows they go into a zone attack, and what they do, the weak side completely spaces out. You see the three-point shooters. Anderson Varejao is going to be the guy in the middle of the lane there, number 17, circling to keep them alive in the defensively inside. And then Zydrunas Ilgauskas is going to be the guy who's going to roll out and get the shot. So watch Varejao is going to keep both guys active inside. The drive, the penetration to make 2 guys play you. And Zydrunas Ilgauskas slides out and make the counter shot. That's what I was talking about. He's seen every defense. And when he catches in certain places, guys react and they know exactly where to go.
Ben Wallace has come in for Ilgauskas. I love when you break down tape. It's an interesting part of this game defensively for the Detroit Pistons. Gibson snaps it outside. LeBron works on Tayshaun Prince. Cross-court to Gibson, late close by McDuffie. That is a 3 by Boobie Gibson right there.
Yeah, but did you see the pass? I mean, LeBron James is over on the strong side of the floor, and he knows Daniel Gibson is going right to that corner, and Gibson is a very, very streaky outside shooter.
James has 2 assists. Szczerbiak is watching Prince. Tayshaun with the miss. He's 0 of 2. Szczerbiak chasing down that ball. Stepped out of bounds. Stepped out of bounds.
Interestingly, in Game 1, Tayshaun Prince was able to post up Wally Szczerbiak, and even if he didn't score, he caused some problems. So at halftime, Mike Brown was going to go to a double team, and Wally Szczerbiak said, I can do a better job on him. So you're already seeing with Szczerbiak in the game, they go right in the post to Prince. And what Cleveland's going to do is they're going to be prepared to help him if they need it. But Wally Szczerbiak said, I will take the challenge. I don't want to double team.
Tayshaun Prince in his 7th season in the NBA. With the drive, goes right into Ben Wallace. And Tayshaun Prince dug with his first 2.
Excuse me, Kevin, but LeBron James was 2nd in the league for Defensive Player of the Year, so he's a terrific defender. So all of a sudden, Wally Szczerbiak comes in the game, and Tayshaun Prince immediately goes on the attack. And now Detroit back again into that little 3-2 zone. Michael Curry said they were going to play some tonight just to give him different looks.
Szczerbiak for 3. Hamilton came in with the close. Rebound by McDyess. That is his 2nd rebound. Look how tall this Detroit team is. A new wrinkle with Stuckey to True Point on the bench. Gibson watches Hamilton. Ronnie Brown overshoots Wallace. That's a turnover. And for the Detroit Pistons, number 6.
Well, that's what the risk you run is when you go to a bigger lineup like that, and Michael Curry's just trying to do some things to slow this team down. You don't have a true ball handler. Now what happens is you get a little out of sync offensively.
Each team with a foul to give. LeBron has started 2 of 2 with 5 points. Screen by Smith. Switch on defense. McDyess goes on James, who knocks down the 3. He's got 8.
See how easy the game is, the rhythm he's playing. I mean, he's just picking and choosing what he wants to do right now.
Brown finds Hamilton. Good defense by Joe Smith. And now here comes Boobie Gibson. LeBron thinking about 3. The fake. Brown defending. And there is a rebound by Ben Wallace, who crafted his trade in the best of his years with the Detroit Pistons. Gibson thought about 3. There's a difference of 7 seconds. The game clock and shot clock winding down this first quarter. The look away by LeBron to Boobie. That's a miss 3. Defended on the play by Hamilton. Another offensive rebound over Wallace at 3. Gibson can't hit. Rebound by Prince. Gibson off the bench has started 1 for 4. Hamilton with the 3 over James at the buzzer. And Rip Hamilton finishes 2 of 4. Down 1 game to none. The Detroit Pistons trail at the end of 1 here in Game 2, 23-14. These are the NBA playoffs.
Okay, thanks a lot, Coach. You seem to be giving as much as you're getting in this contest. So tell me some of the things you want to improve upon in this next quarter.
Well, I just think that we got to do a better decision with the basketball. Whenever we do get in the zone, recognize where the shooters are. They set pick and rolls in the zone. There's automatic switch. So we know they want to pull up and take those shots. And then we got to rebound the basketball. Can't allow them to have second chance opportunities.
How do you feel your strategy against LeBron James is working out so far?
Well, I think we're doing pretty good on him. I thought Rip fought him really hard. And then I thought the double teams were good. But we know they're going to move the ball. We know they got shooters. We just got to do a better job of closing out and keeping them from wide open shots and rebound the ball.
Okay.
Thanks.
So the Pistons miss their first 2 shots to begin this second quarter. They got Mo Williams, Delonte West, and Boobie Gibson in there for Cleveland with Ben Wallace and Joe Smith. Interesting lineup for the Cavaliers. Here is Hamilton watching West and Delonte running out right there. Jason Maxiell has just checked in for the Detroit Pistons. Will Bynum's got the ball right now. Rodney Stuckey, Kwame Brown, and Rip Hamilton. That's a knock away. 8 turnovers now. West 3-on-1. Wallace to the trailing Williams. Into West. Goes by Hamilton. Glides in for 2. And Delonte West has 4. And he's just giving Cleveland Ducks their big lead tonight.
Well, Michael Curry could not be happy. 8 turnovers already, only 7 in game 1. 6 of 19 from the floor. So after having a very big lineup, they now have gone small, really with 3 guards out there with Bynum, Stuckey, and Rip Hamilton.
And Stuckey works inside on Gibson. Rodney Stuckey with his second basket tonight. He's got 4.
Well, that's that strength that I talked about earlier, his ability to finish. He missed a lot of those shots in game 1, but Kevin, after the trade of Chauncey Billups, he had a 40-point game and a 38-point game. So this is a guy who can really score the ball, and this is Mo Williams, who
he can score the ball too.
What an addition as a second option, a guy who can create his own shot off the dribble. So can Delonte West as well as LeBron. So now all of a sudden, instead of having LeBron make all the plays, they have other guys out there that can make plays off the dribble, which is so important in the playoffs when teams scout you so well.
Bynum over Williams. And Will Bynum with his first shot knocks it in. Bynum, of course, earlier this season had that 26-point fourth quarter in early April against the Charlotte team.
And he's a very, very strong and powerful player, and he can get in that lane as well. So this is a team that Cleveland's going to have to do a good job keeping those guards out of the lane.
Williams over Hamilton, and he deflected the ball. That's why there was no foul. Here comes Hamilton the other way. Into Maxio, and he is whacked by Joe Smith from behind. He was defending on the play for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Smith, a former Piston, and Joe Smith Doug has picked up his first personal foul.
Well, this Detroit team that they have on the floor now is got some speed. And so if they can get some defensive stops, Kevin, they can get some early offense. And for Detroit, they're a team, even in their championship years, they didn't get a lot of early offense. They executed so well in the half court and always such a good percentage that they didn't have to. But I think with this group, they're going to have to look to get some early offense against this stifling Cleveland defense.
Here's the 53% free throw shooting Jason Maxio. National coverage of the NBA playoffs will continue. Tomorrow, NBA TV will give you Game 2 of the Sixers and Magic. Friday on ESPN, Game 3, Cavs, Pistons, and Blazers, Rockets. Friday on ESPN 2, Game 3 of the Magic and Sixers. Sunday on ABC, Game 4, Boston, Chicago, and Cleveland and Detroit. Mo Williams, who played at Alabama, by Hamilton. Gibson is picked up by Stuckey. Here's West picked up by Bynum. Away from the ball. There's a whistle, and it comes at the 9:24 mark of the second quarter. Looks like Will Bynum, Doug, has picked up his first personal foul. In the wake of the departure of Chauncey Billups for this Detroit team, take us through what you've seen since he has left and what Michael Curry has had to work with.
Well, I mean, it's a totally different team. I mean, Chauncey Billups was the absolute orchestrator of this offense. He did it so beautifully. They played at a great rhythm. You change your point guard, you change your team, it changes your whole personality. This has been a tough year for the Detroit Pistons as Daniel Gibson has had a lot of open looks he can't finish. And it's what Ben Wallace does. He gives you extra possessions, but 59 wins to 39 as Mo Williams knocking that shot down. So the jitters are gone here tonight. He said, I played in the playoffs before with Milwaukee against Detroit. We were an 8 seed, they were 1. We knew we were going to get beat. And so it really wasn't that much pressure. He said, the other night, I'm playing on a team now that's got a chance to win a championship. Totally different feeling.
Mo Williams has 9. He gets the loose ball right here, and he stepped out of bounds. So with the 9 points, Mo Williams is the game's high scorer. With the 9 he has put in. He had a lot of open looks. He's got a nice stroke. Here's a guy who was initially taken in the second round by the Utah Jazz and Jerry Sloan.
I think a big thing here for Cleveland. The other day when LeBron went out of the game, they had a 9-2 run, the Pistons, also a 7-2 run. Tonight, they're playing much better.
After their 6th consecutive Eastern Conference Finals appearance last season, they started this year by trading Chauncey Billups for Allen Iverson to the Detroit Pistons. They suffered through an 8-game losing streak in February. 3 of their players missed at least 15 games. Iverson with the 23, Wallace 16, and Rip with 15. Although they reached the playoffs for the 8th consecutive year, the Pistons finished under 500, Doug, for the first time since the 2000-2001 season. They replaced, of course, Flip Saunders with Michael Curry as their coach.
It's been a tough year for Michael Curry, but I tell you what, I'm so proud of him. He's handled it like a champ. He's always taken the heat. He doesn't blame the players. He works very, very hard, and you know, they got a decision to make now this off season, and Joe Dumars has done such a brilliant job in Detroit. But this team right now in Detroit reminds me of that 91 Detroit team that had the bad boys, and they were on the end of their run, and they had to eventually break that team up, and they went through a tough time. But here's Stuckey on this little jump shot. He knocks it down. But you know, with Iverson's money coming off the cap, Rasheed Wallace is a free agent. They're going to have money. They've still got some nice pieces. And Joe Dumars is going to be very busy in the draft and in the offseason with free agents trying to rebuild this team and get it back to where it was.
Cavaliers at 48% from the floor. Shot clock here down to 7. 8 to play in the first half. It's Smith getting it from Williams. And Kwame Brown was defending. He was right in front with a little shove right there. And Kwame Brown, the ex-Los Angeles Laker and Washington Wizard, picks up his first personal foul. He was the #1 overall pick of the draft, and at the free throw line is another #1 overall pick in the draft out of Maryland many years ago in Joe Smith.
Well, you know, it's interesting with Joe Smith. He's the #1 pick in the draft that you just talked about, and he's so played on so many teams. She's like, God, this guy must be, you just trade him around. I mean, he must be a guy you don't want on your team. Actually, he's a guy you love on your team. Everybody raves about this guy wherever he's been, what he's been in the locker room, how he comes in and plays. He's always a positive. And one of the big things for Cleveland that really helped them, they picked him up. And the fact he was here last year, there was very little learning curve for him.
Right.
As opposed to a Boston that picks up a Mikey Moore and a Stephon Marbury. You try to indoctrinate him into a system, it's so hard. Joe Smith didn't miss a beat.
Doug's played, as you mentioned before, a lot of teams, 10 different teams he's played for in his 14th season out of the Terrapin program. With the shot clock here at 5, Gibson is watching Stuckey. Here's a 3, and the rebound out of bounds. As Stuckey has, from the floor, with his 6 points, started 3 of 7 from the field.
Now, you got to give a lot of credit to Cleveland's defense, but this is a Detroit team that used to thrive on execution and picking teams apart. And you can see their shot selection is very poor because they're not executing. And Cleveland's making them take a lot of bad shots. As a result, they're 9 of 24.
Williams way outside. Wow. Hamilton was watching the missed 3. Joe Smith digs out the loose ball. Delonte West inside over Kwame Brown. One great hustle inside by Delonte West. 3 of 5, 6 points in 14 minutes for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
If Detroit's going to win the game, you can't get outworked. You can't be playing the #1 seed and let them outwork you. And they got outworked on that play. Delonte West wanted the ball more. And if there's anything that really digs at a coach like a Michael Curry, who's such a competitor, you got to come up with those loose balls. And if Cleveland is going to come up with those plays, Detroit's going to get beat by your 20-plus points tonight because you can't give them extra opportunities.
Swallow comes in for Bynum. And McDyess has come in the game for Maxiel. So Amir Johnson, Stuckey, Aaron Aflalo has just inbounded. McDyess and Hamilton, that is the Detroit 5. Screened by McDyess, West works around it, comes out on Rip. And Rip Hamilton, in 17 minutes, has put in 7, 3 of 6 from the field.
That's the Rip Hamilton who used those screens so well. That time Delonte West tried to cheat the screen, and Rip Hamilton's seen every defense as well. He read it beautifully and got the jump shot.
Hamilton the other way. LeBron, who just checked in, is back in there. And playing the defense. Stuckey now working on Boobie Gibson. Here's a 2-point try. Rebound by LeBron. Stuckey is 3 of 8. LeBron has picked up his 5th rebound. James, a little crossover on the defensive minded of Aflalo. Wide open. West with the miss. Got the miss. Drives inside. Can't get it to go. It was tapped by McDyess, who chases it to the corner, and he and the ball go out of bounds at the 6:07 mark of the second quarter.
Well, people who have not seen much of Delonte West, don't be shocked with him in the lane with all those shots. He's a very good low post player, and when he's being played by a smaller player, a guy his size, Mike Brown will run him down there in the post and post him.
Delonte West bounced around a little bit. He was part of that 3-team trade that Cleveland pulled off, and one time he was traded for Ray Allen, and he was with Boston, so he's bounced around a little bit.
And he fits beautifully here. He brings toughness and energy. He can shoot the ball.
Verjao had the miss. Verjao has now started 0-2. Hamilton guarded by West. Rebound by Joe Smith, who has come off the bench for the Cleveland Cavaliers and snared 3 rebounds. LeBron, look at the acceleration. Look at the bodies all over, including Amir Johnson. Oh, and Johnson just got the tee. Shoving Verjao, who is pushed aside by official Bill Spooner.
That's where you got to keep your poise. Right now, you got to keep your poise. You're Cleveland. You're in command of this game. LeBron James drives to the basket, and you're going to see sort of a headlock here. Let's see who it is. That's Amir Johnson just grabs him around the shoulders and then pushed him in the back of the head. It's interesting. LeBron James doesn't fall, and like 2 of the Pistons fall down. And there's the push, Amir Johnson. The referees are going to sort through this, and what happens? You start seeing a desperate team, Detroit. They know this might be their last chance to make this a competitive series. If you're Cleveland, you got to take a deep breath. You got to walk away from it.
Fireworks moments ago as LeBron James is taking it inside, blowing by a Flalo, and then there's number 25, Amir Johnson, getting him around the neck, and you can see Verjao coming over. And there's a lot of connectivity among these Cleveland players. And this goes back to February 26th of 2006, and Rasheed Wallace hammers Zydrunas Ilgauskas, opening up a gash that required 5 stitches to close. And LeBron said, you know, we're never going to let that happen again, Doug. We're never going to let one of our teammates just sit there and take it like that. We're going to come to his support, his aid. And right there we saw a little taste of that.
Well, if you're going to win a championship, you got to have your teammates back. I mean, obviously you don't want to fight. I mean, that's not what this game is about. LeBron steps up and knocks down the free throw. And then, but the thing about it is when I see this Cleveland team, one of the things I see is a team that loves being in the locker room together. They love to be on the practice court. They love to play. They're talented. They have a brilliant player in LeBron James. Mike Brown, Coach of the Year. They have all the ingredients to be an NBA champion. And so much of being a champion is a team that has that trust and connectedness that you talked about, and Cleveland has it. We'll see whether or not they can win a championship.
And chemistry, Doug, is a very elusive thing. You think you've got the right guys, you think the personalities match up, and sometimes it blows up in your face. And other times, like I say, Cleveland, everything is just clicking.
Well, you could see a team like Detroit. For those 6 years, that was a connected team. They got in trouble in games, and they had each other's back. They executed. Seemed like the tougher the game, the bigger the challenge, the more they pulled together. You don't become a great team to get to 6 conference finals without having that.
Amir Johnson can't get the rebound. Amir Johnson just got the personal and the tee. And here comes LeBron. 3 of 4, 11 points. He's in the middle of the floor. This is what they said they could not let him do. Quickly doubled and shoved and fouled. A follow came over there. They had Stuckey over there. They want to keep him on the sides. At least that's what Michael Curry said yesterday.
Yeah, if you watch, though, he's dribbling that ball in the middle of the floor. And Detroit is so afraid to help because Verjao is around the rim as an offensive rebounder. And you got Gibson, Delonte West, and Zydrunas Ilgauskas spaced out the floor, so they're so worried to leave those shooters. They allow the MVP of the league to just back you down and get to the foul line. So that's the pressure that he's able to put on other teams now because he has such good shooting around him.
Tayshaun Prince has come in for Earl Flalo. And Rasheed Wallace has come in for the Detroit Pistons, taking the place of Amir Johnson. Just finishing up the thoughts you had on the Pistons and that connectivity. It must feel very strange for Detroit, 6 consecutive Eastern Conference Finals and all that success you were just talking about, to be the underdog and the 8th seed in these playoffs.
They got nobody to blame but themselves. They had every opportunity in this regular season to have some wins. They lost 12 games going into the 4th quarter with a lead this year. They had 15 in 3 years. So that tells you late in games, they weren't connected offensively. Who are they going to go to? Iverson? Are they going to go to Rip Hamilton? They didn't defend. And as a result, they gave away double-digit leads, and now they're playing the 8th seed instead of maybe a Boston Celtic team that is beat up and hurt with no Garnett, now no Leon Poe, and here's LeBron James knocking one down. So Detroit has no one to blame but themselves right now for being where they are.
LeBron has 14. He has gone 4 of 5 from the field in 15 minutes. He's put up 5 shots. He's got 14 points. And a timeout taken by the Detroit Pistons. Detroit, on the other hand, has missed their last 4 shots. They trail by their largest margin of 17 right now. A beauty by LeBron right here.
If I am Mike Brown, I am in that timeout right now. LeBron knocks down the 3 now, saying, guys, 4 more minutes, and this team is going to be finished.
Hey, if you don't get the rebound, just don't let Joe Smith get it. If you don't get the rebound, just don't let Ben get it. Because when we ain't helping and we one-on-one and they shoot the ball, we got inside position, we got to get the rebound.
The Cleveland Cavaliers have gotten 5 more offensive rebounds and 7 more rebounds overall.
And that's Joe Smith. He just gets inside Kwame Brown, knocks the ball loose. Delonte West right there on the doorstep with a little jump hook, and there's Michael Curry just talking to his team. Guys, we got to come up with those plays, and what he's done now, he's gone back to his starting team, recognizing you get about 4 minutes and 20 seconds here. You got to make a little push to get yourself back into this game at halftime, and that's what they do on that play. Rip Hamilton, the nice drive on the baseline. You got to get some defensive stops and try to get this thing into single digits going into halftime.
Hamilton with 9. LeBron's 14 leading all scorers. James cross-court. Boobie Gibson, late close by McDyess. That's a 3 launched. And saved by Gibson. Varejao, double-teamed Ilgauskas. Ripped away by McDyess. And a turnover.
Just an unforced error. I mean, Detroit, they do get a good stop there finally and just throw the ball out of bounds.
Detroit has scored 9 points, Doug, out of that timeout. They got 2 right there from Rip Hamilton, but only 11 points in a good portion of this quarter.
And I think the big thing for Mike Brown, he was happy that when LeBron James went to the bench, they were actually positive during that period of time rather than giving points up and letting Detroit cut into the lead.
There's on the screen. Hamilton fights through. LeBron dishing off to West across the lane over Wallace. Rebound by McDyess. West is 3 of 9. And McDyess picking up the loose ball as we see Stuckey drive at the other end, going right into Williams, and that's what they've got to do. As Stuckey comes up with his 8th point, he is 4 of 9.
Well, they want him to be aggressive and attack all the time. He's not a true point guard right now. He's more of a scoring point guard. But you know what? So was Chauncey Billups when he was a young player.
Good comparison. I like that. Billups was huge the other night for Denver, wasn't he? Williams takes it inside the lane. McDyess among the defenders. Varejao vacuums it in uncovered. McDyess with another rebound for the Detroit Pistons. He now has collected 6.
3 good defensive possessions in a row for Detroit.
Stuckey again driving inside, crashing into Williams. That is a Cleveland Cavalier foul with 2:43 to play here in the second quarter, with the Pistons, Doug, shooting 39%. The Cavaliers shooting 42% from the floor. Williams picks up his first.
You see, he's big enough and strong enough to get inside against Mo Williams, who is a smaller guard. And Stuckey then comes back on the next possession, drives that ball to the basket. They felt like that Mo Williams was in the restraining area and was able to not get outside where he could pick up that offensive foul on Stuckey.
We just saw the numbers on Stuckey. We're stuck on thinking about the halftime show. Let's go to Atlanta and EJ. DJ, Detroit on a 6-0 run. The defense has led to some offense.
That's what happens. You get some stops, multiple stops. You get a chance to score. Let's see if Cleveland can stem this tide. Normally you get the ball in the hands of LeBron, but it's going to be Lebron Ilgauskas missing a shot. And once again, Detroit not able to come up with that defensive rebound.
And Doug, in this quarter, Cleveland, after having a great first quarter from the floor, when they hit 10 of the first 20 shots, only 30% here in the second quarter.
Well, a lot of times what happens, you get a lead and it's coming easy for you, you lose a little focus. And where you see it is in the shooting. And that's what's happened right now with Cleveland.
How do you like the way Detroit's, at least the philosophy has been about watching LeBron in the wake of what he did with the 38 in Game 1 over the weekend? I mean, what they're throwing at him. I mean, what else are you going to do?
Nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, what you got to hope is that you get him to give the ball up, and some guys miss shots.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is, you're not going to stop him. And the question is, if you're going to be in the mode of making him give the ball up and other guys start making shots, then you got to stay with that. Then you can't change and then let him start scoring. So whatever you're going to do, you got to try to mix it up. And great players have seen everything. So if you give them a steady dose of the same thing over and over again, they're going to know exactly what you're doing, and they'll get the guys to the open area.
McDyess had picked up his first foul of the game. And the Cavaliers have tried 7 more free throws tonight in this first half, and the Detroit Pistons approaching 2 minutes to play, with Hamilton working on West and Prince guarded by LeBron. And Stuckey is working on Mo Williams. McDyess a screen that knocked out LeBron. The miss by Tayshaun Prince, who is from the floor tonight in 15 minutes, 1 of 4.
I talked to him before the game. His back is really bothering him. He talked to him. He said he got hurt in Miami, and it's really been bothering him. You can see his lateral movement. He's not making shots, and they need him badly to be able to score.
Ilgauskas right into McDyess. Counted for 2 and a foul. Big T lumbering down the lane. He's got 8 points in 14 minutes.
Just no communication there. Antonio McDyess talked about it the other day. He said, you know, defensively, we've always been on a string. We've always been connected. That link, that chain has been broken, Kevin. And so what happens is when you expect somebody to help you, there is nobody there for Detroit to have your backside. And we see it on a play like that. And Kevin, you've heard me talk all our years together about closing quarters. And Detroit made that little 6-0 run to get themselves sort of back in the ball game. And now Cleveland's making that push here. And they're going to try to get this to, 17, 18, or 19 going in at halftime.
Kwame Brown has taken the place of McDyess, who just picked up his second personal foul for the Detroit Pistons. They have never led in the game and trailed by as many as 17. Here's Prince picked up by LeBron. With the shot clock now down to 5. Stucky get a Brown screen, a little flash of defense by Ilgauskas over Williams. Can't get it. There's a foul inside of Ilgauskas. Stucky has started 4 of 10. Got a tee. It's the second one called on Zydrunas Ilgauskas. And here's a 7'3" guy, Doug, who's gone through so much personal injuries to himself. Some heartache with some lost unborn children. I mean, the guy has really gone through a lot, but a wonderful heart, a wonderful soul.
He's one of the most respected guys on the team. And you like this fire in your big guy now. You don't want him to get a technical. And he's looking to Mike Brown. Mike Brown wants to take him out of the game. Rip Hamilton, normally money in the bank at the free throw line, misses his free throw, and it's going to be Darnell Jackson coming into the game now. I tell you, Danny Ferry has done a nice job of getting a lot of young big men to go with this on this Cleveland roster that they're developing. The Hickson kid that played at NC State, Jackson who played at Kansas. You've got Z, you've got Joe Smith, Varejao. I mean, so many big guys. What a wonderful job Danny Ferry's done with this roster.
Stucky into Mo Williams. Now Stucky is dug. There's a jump ball. Nice defense by Mo. Stucky has been more aggressive in the second quarter, and by that, they've gotten to the free throw line. They've maybe challenged a little bit the interior defense of Cleveland, so it has paid dividends. And they've only got one mandate for Stucky: attack the rim.
But look at the scoring for Detroit. Combined 8 of 20 from the floor for Hamilton and Stucky. They have 19 points. Look at the front line. Prince 1 of 4. McDyess 1 of 4. Rasheed Wallace 1 of 4. Their front line is 3 of 12. They have a total of 7 points. Well, where are they going to get their offense from? They have 3 points off their bench. So they need Rasheed Wallace who's got to score. McDyess, these guys have to look to score. And right now, those guys each have 1 field goal.
Knocked away by Mo Williams. Shot clock at 9. Hamilton. Wallace over Joe Smith for 3. And Rasheed, one of the best big men in the NBA, knocking down the three-point shot. Is now 2 of 5, and he's got 6 points in the first half. He had 13 in game 1.
Well, you see that left calf wrapped, and he's really struggled with that. He had a pulled calf muscle, was out for a while. He's really not full strength right now.
Here's James.
Out of bounds.
And out of bounds. Stucky, by the way, is just finishing up that story. In 20 minutes, he's got 10 points, and Doug, 8 of those have come in this second quarter. I see it! Look at Michael Curry, a guy you coached at one time.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite guys. He's a competitor. His heart and soul is in this team. Loves the Detroit Pistons, and I know Joe Dumars is going to do his best next year to change this team and really give him a chance to have some success. I don't know that any team could, or any coach could have been successful with this team this year. It never fit. Once the trade was made and Chauncey Billups was gone, this team has never been the same. We've had injuries. We've shown those. And it's just they've been disjointed all season long.
A shell of what they were.
Exactly.
Difference of 2 seconds, game clock and shot clock. LeBron hit a half-court shot in game 1. Nice fake by West. Jumping button was Brown as the shot clock buzzer was going off. Delonte West with his 8th point in a 4 of 9 shooting display in the first half. Stucky met by James. He'll heave one the length of the floor. And now Jackson and Kwame Brown have a little confrontation over here on the side, bottom of your screen. Oh, little shove. We got technical foul on both Brown and Jackson. A double T. It's on Kwame Brown, and Darnell Jackson will not be shoved around. A little grit in this Cleveland team tonight.
Yeah,
a little showing some muscle.
And frustration again with that Detroit team going in down 14, only scoring 32 points. And, I mean, it's going to be an uphill battle to say the least. The turnover, the offensive rebounding for Cleveland, and LeBron James just picking them apart. And Mo Williams, a much better first half tonight. He's with our Pam Oliver.
Hey, Mo, you weren't very happy after that first game. What were you determined to do tonight differently?
Just come out and be aggressive. That was my first really playoff game. I don't count the other time I was in playoff games, but that was my first one. I just tried to take it easy, but tonight I just wanted to come out aggressive so I get my confidence on where I wanted to be, and I did a good job of it.
Now, Detroit is supposed to make all these adjustments, but you guys seem to be handling each and every one of them.
Hey, we done seen every defense there is. Been playing with this guy, LeBron James, so we prepare for anything.
And finally, as you go into the locker room, I'm wondering about the second half. They've been able to come back on you or crawl back into games. How do you stop that?
Well, they're a good team, man. I say one thing about what we have done. We came out and answered the bell. We came out aggressive. We know they was going to be aggressive. They changed things up, but we handled it well. So we're focused. We're focused. So I'm not too overly concerned.
Okay, thanks a lot. They're focused, and we're focused on taking it to commercial. And on the other side of that, we have the T-Mobile halftime report with Ernie and the rest of the game. Back to you.
High is 17 points. So far, so good.
Yeah, and I think what you're going to see is coming out in the third quarter as a coach with the lead, and you're playing against a team right now that's dispirited. You say win that first 5 or 6 minutes. Let's not let them get a chance to feel good about this game at all.
What'd you think of LeBron's first half?
I thought he did whatever he wanted to do.
Yeah.
I mean, he only took 5 shots, but he found the open men, which is exactly what we thought he'd do against a double team. They started with Rip Hamilton on him, played some zone. He drove the ball into the gaps, found his open shooters, looked over the top of defense with that size, his ability to pass the ball. Daniel Gibson knocks down a 3. Then he decides he's going to pull up and take the jump shot there, a little step-up screen. Another one followed up, so 2 shots off the little wing area. But how about his production, Kevin? How about this? You take 5 shots, 16 points. That's over 3 points every time you shoot the ball. And then the front line of the Detroit Pistons, only 10 total points, 4 of 13. If they have any chance, these 3 guys have to give them some offense. Really, it was Rip Hamilton and Rodney Stuckey, 19 points. They had 6 assists. Other than that, they got no production, only 3 off their bench.
As you take a look at the Dos Equis game summary, LeBron Doug had 8 points in the first quarter, 8 points in the second quarter. You see the difference in field goal shooting. And the number of free throws, the Cleveland Cavaliers in that second quarter took 10 free throw attempts. And plus 10 points, the Cavaliers and the points off turnovers. The things you call the easy points, you were adding them up, and it doesn't add up for Detroit.
Well, Detroit has made 3 free throws. They have 1 fast break point. They have 5 second chance points, so areas that you would get easy points. They have 4 points off turnovers. So, I mean, they're getting nothing easy. And this Cleveland team is a very, very good defensive team that is now a very good offensive team. So right now, Detroit's struggling in all phases.
And let's check in with our Pam Oliver. Pam?
Hey, Kevin, what did Mo Williams say at the half? They've seen about everything the Pistons have to offer. What Coach Michael Curry is hoping for is offensively the Pistons, he said, just need to slow down, take a breath. Too many missed layups. Defensively, he said, defenders are a little too worried about LeBron splitting the doubles. And, oh, yeah, rebounding. They need some. Back to you.
Yeah, they really do. Yeah, thank you very much, Pam. The Cavaliers, Doug, have outscored the Detroit Pistons in all 6 quarters in this series so far. And we begin the second half. Kind of a, you love game 2s, Doug, because it can certainly give you a compass on where this thing is headed, and it ain't headed in a good direction for Detroit right now.
Well, again, if you're Detroit and you're Michael Corey, you look at him and say, guys, compete. Just throw it out there on the line, get the loose balls, and let's see what happens. And the Cavaliers were the aggressors, and that's why they have the lead. They have the better team, and they are taking care of business right now. And Detroit's got to find some kind of spark.
Prince, McDyess, Wallace, Hamilton, and Stuckey out there, the starters for the Detroit Pistons to start this third quarter. McDyess got the pass from Hamilton. He was banged in there by LeBron James, who picks up his first personal foul with his 16 points. James, Varejao, Ilgauskas, West, and Mo Williams out there for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And here is Antonio McDyess at the free throw line for the Detroit Pistons. You know, you mentioned something kind of earlier, Doug, that caught my ear. The 3 consecutive losses at the end of the regular season. I mean, the Detroit Pistons had a legitimate shot to bypass LeBron and the Cavaliers and get instead of the 8th seed, the 7th seed, or even perhaps the 6th seed.
Well, you think about that, and right now this Boston team is in a dogfight with the Chicago Bulls. No Kevin Garnett. Rondo twisted his ankle last night. Leon Poe, torn anterior cruciate ligament. Orlando has already been beaten by Philadelphia in the first game at home. So, you know, they put themselves in a position to play the best team by far in the Eastern Conference.
LeBron trying the alley-oop on the pass from West. Shot clock at 9 around Hamilton. LeBron's missed 3. Got the loose ball. Tries to the McDice. And LeBron will carve his way to the free throw line right there. It's the 3rd personal foul on Antonio McDice, who began his career with a series of what appeared to be career-ending knee injuries. He's come back, and really he's almost finished his career better than he started it. He is averaging more rebounds now than he has like in the last 6 or 7 years.
Well, he gives Arnie Cantor a lot of the credit. Arnie, I don't even know what his title is in Detroit, other than the guys just live, you know, and just so believe in him. There's Mike Abdenauer, the athletic trainer, and Arnie Cantor's the guy there is Arnie right there, and he does so many of the things to keep these guys healthy and work with him. They so believe in him, and one of the reasons why Antonio McDice came back to the Pistons is because of Arnie Cantor and the way he extended his career.
Gauskas comes out on McDice. Screen by Wallace. Hamilton works around that screen. They knocked out West. Rebound by Z. Gauskas claims his 3rd rebound with his 8 points. And here is LeBron. Gauskas a screen. Oh, nice nifty pass by LeBron James. Gauskas missing the shot. And it's picked up by Mo Williams. West. Bergeron. Z over McDice. And picked up inside by Wallace. Ilgauskas has gone 4 of 7. Stuckey over West. Stuckey 4 of 12.
He just doesn't believe in that jump shot. Yeah, the difference, too, between he and Chauncey Billups. Chauncey Billups would have been behind the 3-point line on that penetration and shot a 3.
Bergeron screen for West, and Stuckey trying to swim through it and catch back up with West. Picked up a personal foul. Stuckey is assessed his first personal foul. Trying, you know, Detroit, Doug, has been trying to disrupt this Cleveland offense, this efficient offense. They just haven't found any recipe to do that.
Well, they're a team right now that's playing at such a high level. The Cleveland Cavaliers. And again, I said it earlier. You know, LeBron sets the pace at which they play. And they're playing in a great rhythm right now. It's what Detroit used to do. Detroit was always in a great rhythm, and that's what Cleveland is doing right now. The split on the double team right there. The screen roll by Mo Williams, steps right through it and knocks down the little jump shot. See, he's another guy that can play screen roll. Delonte West, LeBron. So it's not always in LeBron's hands all the time like it was 2 or 3 years ago.
And people standing around. 11 points for Mo Williams, which we'll get to in just a second. Hamilton just picked up his first personal foul. And over Z, it's McDice with the miss right there. McDice, 1 of 5. Yeah, they used to stand around and watch LeBron. They were as infatuated with his movement as we were. Wallace, the late close on Ilgauskas. The rebound by Antonio McDice is 6th.
Just have your hands ready. You're going to get an open shot because LeBron will find you. Not like Magic Johnson used to do, and I'm not saying he's Magic Johnson, but I mean, Magic used to deliver that ball right on the money to the shooter.
With a lot of speed. Here's Hamilton inside a congested lane. Mo Williams was there and reaching up. West was defending as well. Mo Williams picks up his 2nd personal foul. The great thing about LeBron, as is true with all big-time players, is hours before the game in an empty gym, here he is working out with Chris Gent, who he is really bonded with in terms of shooting, working on the details of that shot.
That's what makes great players, attention to detail, and I've said it on many telecasts. You know, I think that one of the things that the gigantic jump in his game has been being around the Olympic team for 3 summers, his attention to detail. So now what you've done is you've taken this incredible athlete with so many gifts, and now he is so fundamentally sound. He repeats and does the same things over and over again. Interesting enough, who did we see last night doing the same thing in Boston? But Ray Allen, who's been in the league so long, one of the all-time great shooters, was 1 of 12 in game 1 of that series. only had one field goal in the first half and came back with a 28-point second half in the game winner.
There's a reason why.
And it doesn't happen by accident.
Yeah, no. There's Williams. Mismatch on Rasheed Wallace will try to exploit. Dumping it up for Ilgauskas. Taps it up and in. Ilgauskas gets the basket. He's got 10 and 4 rebounds. Pistons have missed their last 6 shots going back to the late stages of the first quarter. First half. 10 on the shot clock. Here's Stuckey. Prince, who is just not right. Doug talked about the back and the rib injury he's battling. The guy's good fake by Ilgauskas. And glides in with the basket right there. He's got 6.
See, Antonio Dice reminds me of, for this team, a lot what Joe Smith brings to Cleveland. Just a guy that you can count on. The difference is that Dice has got to play a lot of minutes because on this team, he has to be a starter. His best position would be coming off that bench playing about 22 minutes a night.
A pro.
Yes.
Oh, look at the spin by James. Takes it inside, shedding about 2 defenders, including Hamilton. And Stuckey the other way, lasering one to Hamilton at the other end, who knocks it over the defense of Mo Williams. And ripped down Doug has caught a little bit of fire. He's got 13 points. He's put in 4 here. In this third, Williams, Ilgauskas. Dice closed the door. Z with the pass. Williams the drop. Right inside on Stuckey.
Yeah, beautiful 2-man game. Tried to play pick and roll there. And Mo Williams did a beautiful thing when he gave the ball up. Kevin, he didn't stand. And a lot of times the defender will relax when you give that ball up. And that's when you're most dangerous making a cut.
Mo Williams with 13 over Verjao. It's Prince who continues to stagger with his shot. 1 of 5 with 2 points. And Delonte West takes it the other way. The line of defense blocked by Stuckey. Approaching 7 to play here in the third quarter. See the rebounding story right there. James, Hamilton defending. This is how the game started. Rippers right on Lebron. Shot clock, now the quick double. It opens at Verjao. Collides with Prince inside with the shot clock showing 3.
See, I just don't think you can double LeBron James like that. I mean, LeBron James was holding the ball, and he basically wasn't going anywhere with it. So what happens is now, here comes Rasheed Wallace, and what do you do now? You just move to the open area because Rasheed Wallace is guarding Verjao. Now your defense starts to collapse. Now, I just don't think it's necessary to run out and double team a guy like that who's just standing there and watching what's happening.
Prince picking up his first personal foul from the executive producer, Jerry Bruckheimer. He's an undercover cop in L.A. How far can you go without going over? Don't miss the new series premiere of Dark Blue this July, only on TNT, with Doug Collins and Pam Oliver, Kevin Harlan. Downtown Cleveland. Verjao at the line. And now for the game to start, it was 17 minutes. Doug in his first 2 points. He's 0 of 3 from the field. Stuckey is 4 of 13. McDice is 2 of 6. Williams around the screen by Wallace. And Wallace knocks it in, and everyone was kind of, they almost conceded the shot at the period. He has 8 points now, does Rasheed. He was uncovered on the shot.
Oh, it's a nice little action there. Stuckey made that drive, and Rasheed Wallace's man had to take a step to help him. Rasheed just moved right in behind the ball. He's done that so beautifully throughout his Detroit career. He's such a great jump shooter.
A little double on West with Rasheed on top. As the 7-3 Ilgauskas falls hard. The foul with 6:20 to play here in the third. That's number 4 on Antonio McDice. And, you know, Doug, I look at this team, and I look at you mentioned Danny Ferry back in the first half, which was a great call because he's just added nice pieces along the way around LeBron. But, you know, as you were saying today at lunch, I mean, who wouldn't want to play with him? But not only that, who wouldn't want to play with an unselfish superstar?
Exactly. I mean, you know, you look at these teams that are building these younger teams, and you say, you know, why would you want to go play with this guy or that guy? Well, you know what? If I'm a guy that loves to play off the ball and loves to play with a winner and a guy who loves to pass the basketball, man, I would love to play with LeBron James. I mean, because he's going to find you. He's unselfish. And I said early in his career, he was forced to be a scorer in big numbers because it's the only way they could be competitive. I think his nature is to be a big scorer. I think his nature is more triple-double.
Interesting. Kwame Brown has just checked in. Tayshaun Prince. Guys leaving with those 4 fouls. So Brown comes in. Verjao guarding Wallace. Rebound by James. So Wallace is 3 of 7. James collects his 9th rebound. He's got 17 points. Closing in on a double-double again. Hamilton backpedaling with the bulldozing James. West shed the defensive Prince. And he was just too fast for Tayshaun. You mentioned he can't move with the greatest of ease anyway, and that's 8 points for Delonte West in 27 minutes.
It's like Delonte West is a power player in a point guard body. He loves to drive that ball in post. And think about Phil Martelli at St. Joe's that year. He had Delonte West and Jameer Nelson in the backcourt.
27-0.
I think I could have won a few games with that squad.
We're all over the Pistons tonight in Game 2, 59-42, talking about LeBron. Look at him coupled with these 6 other great young rising stars in the NBA. The future is in good hands.
Well, I tell you, the guy who's smiling when he sees this is our commissioner, David Stern. He sees these young players, the impact that they're having on their teams, but more importantly, guys that are great, character guys. And you look at this team, 5 of these 7 guys played on the Olympic team, and the 2 who didn't, Brandon Roy and Derrick Rose, will probably be on the next Olympic team. And every one of these guys who played on the Olympic team and were together this summer have come back better players. They were around greatness. They practiced every single day. Coach K did such a wonderful job leading that team, and it was a tremendous experience for those players and the way they handled themselves and the way they played. For me to be over in Beijing and be a part of that and watch that was really a thrill for me.
Stuckey now with 11. And I don't know, Doug, that playing for an Olympic team as a pro had a real good name until Jerry Colangelo and Mike Krzyzewski kind of got the thing steered and navigated in the right direction.
Well, they basically laid down, if you're going to be on our team, and this is the standards, the gold standard, and this is what we're going to do on a daily basis. If you can't do that, we don't want you on our team.
You know what that dunk said? That dunk said 2-zip.
Yes. And the question is going to be, does Detroit want to come back here for a Game 5? Do they want to make that trip?
They don't look like it, do they?
Not right now.
Hamilton, Stuckey, bobbling. Brown set a screen, moving the ball to the other side. Here's a 2 by Rip Hamilton, the close by LeBron James. And Rip Hamilton, 6 of 12. He's got a Piston-high 15 points tonight. LeBron is leading all scorers with 19, an emphatic 2-hander you just saw moments ago as he dropped the anvil.
Now back to that 3-2 zone with Kwame Brown being at the top as a bigger guy to try to play against LeBron James.
Wilgomskis outside to Mo Williams, late close by Rasheed Wallace. As Mo Williams has gone 7 of 12, 16 points, second leading scorer tonight, second leading scorer in the regular year for Cleveland.
You get it in the heart of the defense and you play inside-outside. Sabrina Sogalska takes a great pass from LeBron, looks to the corner.
There was a foul called on Stuckey. He knocked Mo Williams down hard. That's the second on Rodney Stuckey.
No team foul on the play.
We talked to Michael Curry there before the game. He said, what's been lost in our season is the fact that Rodney Stuckey has made a lot of progress, and he's going to be a terrific guard for us. He talked about it today to us about, with all the things that they've had talked about and all the injuries, all they've gone through, down to 39 wins from 59. Rodney Stuckey has had a very, very good year.
Shot clock at 5. Over Kwame Brown, James. Rebound by Verizon. Rebound by Wallace. Rasheed getting his 4th rebound. Look at the other end. Here's Brown as he goes into West with 3:42 to play in the 3rd. Well, let's revisit that good-looking dunk. Set up by Mo Williams.
Well, again, it's LeBron James not having to do the creating. He can do the finishing. And all of a sudden, he's got guys that can make plays for him, getting in the lane with that powerful finish.
Now stuck in the line for your Cavaliers.
Second foul went on Kwame Brown. As you see, LeBron, who is going to talk things over on the side with the NBA Coach of the Year, Mike Brown. It was interesting. He said, we weren't good offensively over the last 3 years because of me. was stressing defense. And my superstar bought in. And when your best player buys into what you're trying to do, it sure makes things a lot easier.
And what he's done is he's given his assistants a lot of freedom. Mike Malone over there, the well-respected assistant, does a lot of the defense. John Kuster, the offense. They'll meet during timeouts. You'll see it. John Kuster, many instances, will take that clipboard and go in there and draw what he wants offensively. Mike Brown looks at him. He says, I look in their eyes, and if I get a sense that's really what they want to do, then I follow what my assistants say.
West has the steal. Here comes LeBron James. Cleveland Cavaliers have their biggest lead tonight in Game 2 against the Detroit Pistons.
Well, let's talk about how dominant Cleveland has been this season, Kevin. You see their record, best in the NBA, 21 wins, which was second best behind the Atlanta Hawks. Miami Heat, but 41 wins by 10 or more points. And what that enabled LeBron James, he did not play in 14 fourth quarters, and in 6 others, he played less than 6 minutes. We're looking like tonight could be another one of those games where he does not play in the fourth quarter if Cleveland finishes this quarter strong.
Followers come in for the Pistons. Here is Stuckey. 4-13, guarded by Mo Williams. Pistons have had 3 consecutive turnovers. Cleveland on a 7-tip run. Nice fake by Stuckey. This is over Varejao. And Stuckey with 14. Rodney Stuckey, who is out of Eastern Washington. He was the Big Sky MVP as a freshman. Played 2 years there. He was a mid-first round selection by this Piston team and the GM, Joe Dumars.
Well, actually, a lot of people say, how could a young, talented player like that be at Eastern Washington? He had some great problems. Actually, he signed with the University of Washington and went to Eastern Washington. Sometimes the best thing that happened. I went to Illinois State, and it gave me a chance to grow so much as a player.
Shot clock violation. And as a student.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm saying, you were accepted at Harvard. Shows I'm going to go a different route. Here's Stuckey over Ilgauskas. Rebounded by West. And to LeBron as he goes skipping his way deep into the stands. Boy, do they love that.
They love anything he does. LeBron, this guy is so beloved. Think what he's done for this franchise over the last few years, the credibility that he has brought to this team. Dan Gilbert, the owner, they asked Mike Brown the other day, why are you better offensively? He said, well, first of all, it starts with Dan Gilbert. He spent the money to bring the players in here. And so you have the owner, and you have a LeBron, a local guy from Akron here, who's been such a fixture in this community. You have all these pieces, character guys, and what you get is now you get a team that's got a great chance to get out of the Eastern Conference and be in the NBA Finals.
Ilgauskas is checked out. Joe Smith is checked in. There goes Mo Williams, and here comes Boobie Gibson with LeBron James at the free throw line, a 78% free throw shooter this season. 22 points tonight. On the line, he is 8 of 12.
Well, think about it. When LeBron went to the NBA Finals a couple of years ago against the San Antonio Spurs, think of the players that he had with him, and think of the guys that he has with him now, and see how much more help he has out on the floor.
Smith comes out in Hamilton.
2 minutes to play.
Max Seal is in. He takes this shot over Varejao. And Joe Smith reels in the loose ball. Timeout taken by Mike Brown. A 20-second timeout taken by Mike Brown. The Cleveland Cavaliers as Joe Smith collects his 4th rebound with a couple of points in 14 minutes tonight. Cavaliers are looking to make this baby 2-zip. Clobber in Detroit tonight. Pistons, by the way, Sunday on ABC as well.
I cannot wait to get an off day tomorrow in Chicago and be able to go to that Game 3 and work. That United Center, wow, is going to be on fire.
Smith trying to go inside. With 1:42 to play here in the third quarter. Terrific pass by LeBron. Kwame Brown picks up his 3rd personal foul.
His 3rd personal.
First of all, he can throw a soft pass like that. And then, Doug, he can throw a pass that can literally take off your head if you're not paying attention.
Well, again, it gets back to, I think that's a part of his game that people look at and don't understand. That's one of the best parts of his game. And he can score, yes, but when he is setting up his teammates, you've got to now pick your poison. Are we going to try to stop LeBron? We're going to let him get the ball to his teammates. There's a lot of guys who are big scorers that you can double team them, and they reluctantly give the ball up. That's what he wants you to do. Double team him, and he'll find the open guy.
What'd you do when you were done?
I did not pass. I shot against two guys.
I knew that.
My pass was another guy's offensive rebound.
At least you're honest. At least you're honest about it. Cleveland 11-2 run Hamilton over Varejao. And Rip has got 17 points, 7 of 13 from the field. Doug, there's obviously a lot on the upcoming slate for the Pistons in terms of rebuilding. I mean, where do they start? Who stays? Who goes? Where are they headed? Where's their compass point?
Well, I mean, Allen Iverson obviously won't be back, so they've got, I think, $20 million coming off the cap there. They're going to have some money to spend. What free agent are they going to have to be able to target and go after? To add pieces to this team. Rasheed Wallace has an expiring contract. Are they going to try to maybe bring him back and sign him to a lesser deal? Jason Maxiell, who they put good money in, has had a very, very disappointing season.
You're right.
He's not had an impact. I think they like a swallow. They like Bynum off the bench. Obviously, Stuckey's their point guard of the future. Rip Hamilton's still got some nice years in at that two-guard position. I think they're going to take a look at Tayshaun Prince. He's been there a long, long time. And, what are they going to do with Tay?
A lot of miles on him, aren't there?
And, he's got that body that it's very difficult for him to keep weight on and stay strong. And you think of all the battles that he has faced for Detroit. I mean, think of the guys he's guarded in the playoffs over the last 5 or 6 years.
Like a who's who.
Exactly.
Nice double with Smith and West on Rip. They're working around as Bynum is now in. It's Kwame Brown working on Joe Smith. Rebound by LeBron. That's his 10th rebound. He's got 25 points and he's got 4 assists. All wrapped up in a nice, neat 30-minute package. Outside Smith, late close by Brown. Rebound inside by the smallest guy on the floor, Bynum. He played in the Final Four at Georgia Tech and finds Aflalo. He played in the Final Four for UCLA. Lose it inside, and Varejao comes up with another rebound. Varejao, I love this guy, 7 rebounds.
Well, enjoy this possession with LeBron because it might be his last of the game.
It should be.
Yes, if they take care of business in the fourth quarter with the guys coming in, this is going to be his last possession.
Outside West, late close. Brown, that's a 3, and LeBron comes up with his 5th assist. West buries the long-range shot. He's got 15. And that ends our third quarter. Doug, you're right. That was probably it. As LeBron has been as efficient as possible tonight. 25 points on 10 shots. Cleveland closes the third on a 16-4 run. They've wrapped this one up. They lead by 27.
Well, Coach, you always have nice things to say about the Pistons. What you got tonight?
We're having it. We're knocking down some shots, and they're trying, but right now they just seem out of rhythm. And so, with the ability of our guys to knock down shots, it's making it easier, and it's making our guys want to defend. We're contesting. We're getting some things off the rim and trying to push it. So it's not over yet, though.
I think your guys are trying to show why you deserve to be Coach of the Year.
Well, I'm with a great group of guys, and not only that, my coaching staff is terrific, and we feel honored as an organization to win that award.
How comfortable do you feel that the wheels are not going to come off no matter what? I mean, the way this team is playing.
We take this thing one day, one game, one practice, one shoot-around at a time. And if we look beyond that or think we're better than that, then we're going to be in trouble. And our guys have been patient. That's what we got to continue to do.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Nice game tonight for Mo Williams. Thank you, Pam. He's got the 16 points and 6 assists for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Just picked up his 3rd personal foul. Here is the lightning quick Bynum over Williams at the other end. And Bynum coming off the bench. The guy from Georgia Tech, 4 points in 7 minutes. Who has formed Mike Brown's coaching philosophy? Who have had their fingerprints on the way he coaches?
I would say Greg Popovich and Rick Carlisle. I think he spent a lot of time with those two guys. Both those guys very detail-oriented. I'd say when you talk with Mike Brown before the game, this guy's one of the most humble guys you could ever talk to. And I think that humility, and you got a great star like LeBron James who brings that personality. That guy, when you're around LeBron, you feel like that he wants you to be around. I mean, he likes being around people. And I think those two guys' personalities really are what this team is all about. It's really a great situation.
Well, Pop has that certainly with guys like Tim Duncan and Ginobili.
But again, it doesn't happen by accident.
Absolutely.
You got to have a master plan. You have an owner, Daniel Gilbert, very, very successful man who hired Danny Ferry, who hired Mike Brown. They're a chain that's connected, and that's why they are. Then you get lucky and you get a LeBron James and you fill the pieces. But look at these numbers here tonight. LeBron James, 25 points on only 10 shots. The entire front line for the Pistons, 16 points on 18 shots. LeBron has taken more free throws the entire Pistons team, 15-11.
Gibson, West, Jackson, Serbiak, and Joe Smith getting that rebound as he had defenders draped all over him. And he keeps it alive. Joe Smith has just grabbed his 5th rebound. And they got a little trap on West. Here's Jackson, hustled by Bynum, who picks up the foul. Bynum out there with Maxio. Walter Herman, along with Kwame Brown.
Darnell Jackson.
Flalo.
Second team foul.
Darnell Jackson just picked up his first personal foul for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Take a look at the bench. Isn't it amazing how far Detroit has fallen, though, Doug? I mean, here is a team, and I mean, it's
how quickly it goes.
Yeah, my goodness, it really does. Gibson was defending Bynum.
Well, you know, they made the Allen Iverson deal, and at that point in time, I think Joe felt we'll see how this is going to be. It never worked. I mean, he and Rip Hamilton were never going to be able to play together. They tried playing Rip as a small forward with Iverson out there, and Tayshaun Prince as a 3. Excuse me, as a 4. Now you got 3 guys out of position. So it just wasn't going to work. The good part about it is you can move that money, and you got a chance to rebuild. But the problem is Michael Curry, as a rookie coach, has had to go through a very, very tough season.
Dealt a tough end. What'd you say? I'm going back now on my Rolodex of things you've said, which, you know, are hundreds. But I think before the season, and correct me if I'm wrong now, you said something like the head coach of Phoenix this year, which is Terry Porter, and the head coach of Detroit, these are the toughest head coaching jobs in the NBA.
I don't think there was any question. I think that, you know, the moves that Phoenix had made, how they changed their team. Terry Porter came in and was asked to change some things, and it did not work. Alvin Gentry came in. They went back to running and playing that up-tempo basketball. Very, very happy with that, but not able to get into playoffs. And this team, once the trade was made for Chauncey Billups, from that point on, it became an incredibly tough team to coach just because the pieces didn't fit on the court and the personalities didn't match.
Well, that's a lot, though. Those personalities don't fit. You've got some issues. Chemistry and everything else. Looking for the best selection of Pistons and Cavaliers playoff gear, log on to NBA.com now for the best selection of T-shirts, jerseys, hats, and more. Plus free shipping on orders over $75. NBAstore.com. One store, every team. This little Bynum. He's a tough little guy from Chicago. Serbiak picks up a foul. This guy, he began at the University of Arizona. He transferred to Georgia Tech. He played in the Final Four we talked about. He's from Chicago, where he was the public school player of the year. He's played in the D-League. In the last 2 years, Doug, he's played overseas in Europe.
Yeah, sometimes you get a little hungry. You want that NBA per diem. And
I want your per diem.
Yeah, okay. and then, but what they like about him is he can get it in the lane at will. You saw in that last possession, his upper body strength. He was able to finish that on the contact and get a 3-point play.
Gibson on the wing. Bynum, by the way, has all 7 Piston points here in this 4th quarter. 7 on the shot clock, where they move the ball well side to side. Serbiak got left by Herman. And then a hard foul. The second one delivered tonight by Amir Johnson, who just checks in. He got a tee the first time. He was climbing on LeBron's back. And Amir, former high school player of the year in Los Angeles, picks up his second personal foul.
2 shots. One lead. Serbiak.
Here's the way the West looks right now. And after our game tonight, we're going to take you out to the LA Lakers Utah Jazz Game 2.
Well, you know, we had the last regular season game in there, Lakers and Utah, and I just don't see Utah having the pieces right now. They don't have the size, and the Lakers are a lot like Cleveland right now. They're on that mission, you know, even winning the other night. Phil Jackson wasn't real happy with the way they won the game, nor was Kobe Bryant. So it's going to be interesting. Can Utah find a way to be a little bit more competitive tonight? But that Portland-Houston game is one I'm looking forward to because Portland got their head handed to them at home the other night. Houston came in, and Yao Ming started out, didn't miss a shot, and they were brilliant. So let's see what happens in Game 2 in the Rose Garden.
Walter Herman from Argentina. Serbiak the late close. That's a triple for Herman. Undrafted, 4 years in the Spanish League. He had Olympic gold for Argentina back in 04. Using that Nazi Muhammad trade, you may recall. Here's a drive here by Gibson. Bynum was defending, and Bill Bynum picks up his second personal foul. So Cleveland is coasting. LeBron is done for the night, we think, with his 25 points.
To give you an NBA carries that involves food and ask you to try to get through that, I don't know.
I know. Schemes get you hungry, don't they? There is West trying to sneak by Johnson. Smith is still down. Here's a follow at the other end. He went into Boobie Gibson. Found 2.
I think the one thing Mike Brown is going to talk to his team about is don't play the score. You know, you guys are getting a chance to play. Execute. I want to be able to trust you to put you in games. So don't get sloppy now because it's a 20-point game.
These are valuable minutes for these guys. You know, they're not going to see a ton of time. West finds Smith. Those are two guys that will. There's a turnover right there by Joe Smith. A follow by West. Serbiak tries to knock it away and can't. So Aaron Aflalo has put in 2 straight. And the lead is at 18. Detroit on a 14-3 run.
But again, it's getting careless. Making one-handed passes off the dribble, trying to split a double team on a screen roll. Just move the ball. You get any shot you want to get.
Here's West. Smith over Amir Johnson. Rebound by Jason Maxiel. Shoved by Darnell Jackson. And that is a foul. Jackson got him early in the game in a little skirmish. Picked up a technical foul. He just picks up his second personal foul right there. Under 8 to play here in the 4th quarter. This series now move on from here to Detroit, Michigan for Game 3. Will Bynum, and they basically let him fire right there. So Bynum has come off the bench for the Detroit Pistons. In 10 minutes, he's got 11 points on 6 shots. The Pistons have added 7 of 7 shooting 4th quarter.
And Mike Brown does not want to have to put his starters back in the game. That's the last thing, because they really have sort of cooled down over there and they sort of got this game on ice. And they do not want to get slides. A big shot every 3 gets, and they try to make it, push that thing back up to 19.
Bynum again, racing the other way. Goes by Gibson, who holds on to Will Bynum. Down goes Will. Second foul called on Boobie Gibson. Well, we talked about taking care of business. Sure enough, here come the starters, Doug. You're clairvoyant. Here come. You're reading the mind of not only Michael Curry, but, of course, Mike Brown. There's Zhao and LeBron all getting set to check back in the game. That's something they did not want to do.
Well, the crowd is excited because they're going to see LeBron again. But Mike Brown is not, because he did not want to have to play them. Remember the other night in Portland, Yao Ming picked up his 4th foul midway through that 3rd quarter. He didn't play a minute the rest of the game.
National coverage of the NBA playoffs continues tomorrow. NBA TV, Game 2, Sixers Magic. Friday, ESPN, Game 3, Cavs and Pistons, followed by Game 3 of Portland and Houston. Also Friday on ESPN 2, Game 3 of the Magic and Sixers. And then Sunday on ABC, Game 4, the Boston Celtics and Chicago Bulls, followed by Game 4, the Cavs Pistons. Last night, Doug and I were in Boston. Tomorrow we head to Chicago. And then we're down in Houston over the weekend. There's a foul called on Mo Williams. So the big lead of 29 of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Doug, has been cut down to 14 points. And that foul goes on Mo for the 4th time. And a mildly upset Mike Brown, I would assume.
Well, this happened the other day, not to this extent, in Game 1. And LeBron came back in, and they went on a 13-2 run to put that game away.
11-0 run by Detroit. Aflalo, late close by West. That's a three by Aflalo. Knocks it in from outside. 8 of 8 quarter for the Detroit Pistons. And Aaron Aflalo has put in 7 points on 4 shots.
Isn't it amazing when you play with energy and toughness, what happens, what kind of results you start getting?
LeBron picked up by Aflalo, yeah. I mean, it doesn't take much, just work. James got him in the air, and Aflalo wisely didn't collide into him. It's picked up inside by Amir Johnson. Oh, what a screen by Maxiel. He knocks Williams. I think he knocked the wind out of Williams. And Mo is catching his breath here at midcourt. We heard it like his jaw and his teeth. You heard the chatter.
That's why you don't want to have to put your starters back in the game. This is how you hurt a shoulder. You get hurt, but watch what happens. And see, both of the Cleveland big men are running down the floor, which is with their back to the basket. Nobody calls it. That's how you get hurt. You might break a rib. I mean, that's a clean play. That's why you don't want to have to put your starters back in the game. It's not like you want to get your reserves hurt. But, you know, Kevin, the one thing I said in the playoffs, play as few minutes as you can and play as few games as you can. The more games that you have to play, bad things happen. And that's why you want to be able to close these games out in the fashion that you started out playing.
Williams, Smith, and into Maxiel. 6:11 to play in the fourth. Cleveland's been scoreless almost 5 minutes. At 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Foul there goes on Herman. Picks up his first personal foul. And so the Cavaliers will be at the free throw line. They have tonight tried 32 free throw attempts to the 14 by the Detroit Pistons as we swing down to Atlanta and Ernie Johnson. Ernie, thank you. So Roy has 5 early points in that game. A free throw right there breaks a 14-0 run by the Detroit Pistons that get them back in the game. Now down by 12. Here's Bynum, late closed by Williams. Still trying to shake the cobwebs after that great kick set by Maxiel. The rebound by Joe Smith. That was the first miss of the quarter by the Detroit Pistons. LeBron, West, Williams. And Joe Smith off to Mo and sets a screen. Here's LeBron. He stepped out of bounds. Dick Bavetta saw it and calls it. Came to 6 seconds on the shot clock and 5:40 to play in the game. And a frustrated Mike Brown's going to call timeout. Some character being shown by the reserves of the Detroit Pistons, Doug.
And you see what happened too. A little lack of focus here, loss of focus by Cleveland. That's
downtown Cleveland, Ohio. And coming up in this series, the Friday Game 3 at Detroit. And then a Sunday game on ABC at Detroit at 3:30 Eastern Time. Bynum over James. Rebound by Amir Johnson, who slams it in inside. That makes it a 10-point game with 5.5 to play.
Okay, what you're seeing with this second unit for Detroit is a lot of energy. This team is playing with a lot of life, and they're getting the loose balls that the starters did not get.
A little character, too, huh? Verdowskis. Maxiel is on him and blocks the shot. Cavaliers have not hit from the field in 6.5 minutes. Gone 1 of 6 in this quarter. Bynum, they're going to double him with Bergeron Williams. Johnson is free, tries to snake inside of Nogowskis. Outside of Aflalo, around James for 3. Rebound by Maxiel, an offensive rebound. Here comes Bynum. Mismatch on Bergeron. And putting it back in, Maxiel, 8-point game.
Cleveland's gone dead in the water here right now. They got to get their motor started. Question I have is, if you're Michael Curry right now, your second unit is playing so well, you might not see the starters. He might let this group just play it out. So you're playing better than my starters are right now. I'm just going to leave you out there and let you go.
You see what's happened in this quarter. Well, we had the Pistons buried about a half hour ago. James. Bergeron. Maxiel is defending. It's a 3-second violation that goes inside. It's on the Cleveland Cavaliers.
3-second violation.
Well, moments ago, in the last huddle, Mike Brown With a look of disgust for the Coach of the Year in the NBA, who was given the Red Auerbach Trophy before our tip-off tonight.
Sometimes it's good to do that. Rather than go in and say something you would wish you hadn't said, just stand outside. The players get the message sometimes without saying a word.
Hard screen by Johnson on James. It opens up the door for Bynum, who misses right there. Bynum down from the floor, 5 of 10, 25-4 run. By the Detroit Pistons to get back in this one, approaching 4 minutes to play in the fourth. There's a foul on Bynum. Again, I said a little character by this second unit. Michael Curry epitomized that word character.
That's his middle name. Yeah. Michael Character Curry, basically. I mean, that's how he is where he is today.
You mentioned him, haven't you? In some ways.
I don't know. I've been in his life.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think there's been things he's learned from me, probably some good and some bad. You know, and I hope that the mistakes I've made, that he erased those from his and tried to take maybe some of my strengths. But I think we connect because I think we view the game the same way. We're competitors. We love to teach. We love to play the game nightly as a team and want our team to reflect our personality. So I think that that's why Michael and I always connected.
Cleveland led by 29 points. And the starters were on the bench, or the good portion of them on the bench to start this fourth quarter. They had come off when a huge run by Detroit forced them back in the game. That's a hit by McDyess, who just checked back in the contest. Bynum gets the assist. Bynum picks up his 4th assist of the game.
I like what Michael Curry did. He brings Rip Hamilton back for offense and also McDyess back in. So he's got a good group out there now that can defend and score.
James drives into 2. He's right in the face. Was it a foul or was it McDyess?
Ooh, he got hit hard on that play.
Here are the fourth quarter numbers. It's strange seeing 27-7.
What stands out if they're more than anything? 6 shots. They've only gotten 6 shots. They're in almost 8.5 minutes.
Lebron James.
Swallow picks up his 3rd personal foul. James has now his 16th free throw attempt. That is more than the entire Piston team. They're 12 of 14 from the line.
I'll tell you the teaching point you're going to have, though, if you're like Brown. If Cleveland holds on and wins this game, now they're going on the road. You walk in that locker room and say, guys, you see what happens the moment we stop competing at the highest level? That's how you give a game away. You saw it the other night. Philadelphia steal a game in Orlando down 18 and came back and win game 1.
Bynum over West. Knocked by Hamilton. Saved by James. And a foul on Hamilton. Well, LeBron is over there in some gal's lap. That's the 2nd foul. And it goes on Rip. But LeBron trying to save the ball went crashing into some front row seats and had some goodwill for some fans over here. He's the total package. Watch this. And there he goes. LeBron, look at that, huh? Boy, you talk about NBA cares right there. The NBA does care about their fans who pay all the money to sit courtside. West at the line. TBS Wednesday. That lady's going to remember that for the rest of her life. Notice the husband didn't get in the way of that kiss. He said, whatever, Mr. James, whatever you need to do, you just go right ahead and do so. That's what you used to do, right, Doug? You fall out of bounds, you're kissing babies and
there we go.
ladies. And, you just saw on TBS Wednesday, Brown is back in the hottest new comedy. Tyler Perry's Meet the Browns, May 27th at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, only on TBS. Bynum got a screen from McDyess. Ilgauskas late with the close. McDyess with an offensive rebound. Back to Will Bynum. And the mismatch on Ilgauskas.
This kid can get a shot anytime he wants. It's a great block by Z, but this Bynum has got some kind of speed and quickness. And if he gets more consistent on that mid-range jump shot, this kid can score. I mean, he's been the guy who's really helped bring them back. But Cleveland, in this period, they have 2 points from the field, 9 free throws for their 11 points.
29-point lead earlier in the game for the Cavaliers, who have had only 1 field goal in this fourth quarter, put in by Delonte West at the 11:47 mark. Now the Cavaliers as we see a shot by Rip Hamilton, which rims out. It was free to fire. It's out of bounds off of the Detroit Pistons. So Cleveland, Doug, has basically gone 9 minutes without a field goal.
Well, they went to their bench and they got sloppy. Remember I talked about they turned the ball over and Detroit ran out and got a few easy points, something they hadn't gotten the entire game. They got into the game and then Cleveland just went dry. They just all of a sudden couldn't get anything going. Then Mike Brown comes back with his starters, and it's the hardest thing. Remember, Kevin, I said something. It's like you start getting in that shutdown mode of 27 points. I'm not going to play the rest of the game. All of a sudden, you got to go back in, and now you've got to get yourself back into the game. It's a very, very hard thing to do.
Bynum has just picked up his 4th personal foul. Paul Williams at the free throw line. 18th point right there. LeBron's got 27 and 12 rebounds as we revisit your keys, Doug, from a couple hours ago. And it looks like he was spot on once again. There was an early good start by the Cavaliers. They set the tone.
And no answer for LeBron as well. Taking care of business, looking to go 2-0. The only thing is Mike Brown is not going to be happy with the finish of this game. He's going to be happy with the win, not the finish. Another teaching point for a team now getting ready to go on the road and play 2 games. Guys, you go to Detroit and play like this, and you'll get beat.
Cleveland plus 20 points from the free throw line. McDyess over Ilgauskas. Rebound by the hustling Maxiel. Out to Hamilton. The close by Williams. The rebound by LeBron, number 13. Williams at the other end. That'll count. Hamilton defending. They'll be at the line. And the Cavaliers have vaulted on top of the Pistons once again. How about this throw by LeBron James to the other end of the court?
Well, he was a tight end in football. This time he's playing quarterback. And Mo Williams for the finish. Rip Hamilton tonight, 7 of 15, 17 points, but really not points that really were, I would say significant for his team. I thought it was the same thing in game 1. You look at his numbers, he had 15. A lot of those came late in the game when the game was decided. So one of the guys I think who's really suffered with the loss of Chauncey Billups was Rip Hamilton, who was connected with him so much. And just they knew where each other were going to be every possession on the floor.
Follow fights. Williams falls and holds on to his right knee.
And Mike Brown is holding on to his heart as it's jumped up into his throat.
Ilgauskas picks up his 4th personal foul. 2:04 to play. We saw a good scene last night, Doug, at the Garden in Boston. It was a wild and raucous crowd here most of the game in Cleveland. And we're going to go to Chicago on Thursday night. And we are bracing ourselves for what will be an explosion at the United Center.
Well, I've been a part of Chicago playoffs, and I was at the Chicago Stadium where it was so loud, and that building would actually, the organ there would sway up in the second level kind of thing. And to me, there was no place like the Chicago Stadium. I know I'm a little biased because I coached there for 3 years, but when you were playing well in that building, and now the United Center, and that team is coming together at the right time. Chicago will be interesting. If they can win and go up 2-1, you put all kinds of pressure on Boston trying to win that game 4 to even up to 2-2. They do not want to go down 3-1.
Bynum out on Williams. Shot clock down to 10. Followed out on the defensive switch. It means Bynum is on LeBron. Just like that, 29 for LeBron. 13 rebounds and 6 assists in 36 minutes. 29 points and 12 shots for LeBron James. Pistons have missed their last 6. Ilgauskas comes out on McDyess. Rebound by Antonio. There is a follow. Varejao to close. Another miss. Maxiel digs inside and works his way into Ilgauskas and finds 2. Maxiel now dug with 5 in 18 minutes.
Now, that's the Jason Maxiel that I saw a year ago. I've not seen that kind of energy and that kind of toughness. And they need him. They've made an investment in him financially, and they need him to play because he gives them a younger player energy. You've seen his ability to get on that offensive boards, and he brings toughness.
Follow is on James. Shot clock at 3. Now doubled by Maxiel. Rebounded by Antonio McDyess. He's got 11 rebounds with his 8 points. There's a follow by James. With the left hand, he puts it in. In fact, not only got by James, but got by Varejao.
I think Mike Brown is going to look at this tape and show his team how they just start getting so stagnant. Too much dribbling, no ball movement. Detroit really got up defensively, start pressuring, And you see all these shots that Cleveland has taken in this fourth quarter, basically, Kevin, have been sort of just shots to beat the clock. They have not been high percentage shots.
Here's LeBron James over Afflalo. Bynum. And Afflalo the other way. And over Williams. Chasing the ball. 17.2 to play. Our producer tonight was Scott Cockle. Our director was Lonnie Dale. And special thanks to Pat McGrath, Todd Regenbogen, and Dennis Stone.
Number 10, Wally Serbiak.
Wally Serbiak's going to check back in the game. Darnell Jackson's going to check back in. There goes Williams, and there goes Ilgauskas. Doug, always a pleasure working with you. We're going to have a day off and catch our breath, and we'll meet up at Chicago's United Center on Thursday night. Hamilton. Rip. 3. Rebounded by Serbiak. Cleveland Cavaliers led by 29. It got down to 7. And they hold on for a 94-82 win.